Hey guys, so today I'm here to film a book review for Rebel of the Sands by Arwen Hamilton, and I never actually filmed a review when I read this back in 2016, but because I want to review the last book in the trilogy because it's an anticipated read, I thought it was best to just do a review for book 1 and book 2 as well, but then I thought I'd have too many thoughts, so I'm just going to do one video review each for all 3 books, and I'm really excited to get into it, and the cold is still here, guys. My voice is slowly annoying me, like my throat doesn't hurt as much, but I just it sounds so bad in my head, my voice right now, and I don't know how it sounds for you guys, but I've also been feeling like really shit, so that's why the light's on, because I kept procrastinating actually filming this, but I need to film it because then I'll just have too many videos blocked up. I filmed 2 yesterday and I'm filming this one today, and that's probably all I'll film for the week, and hopefully maybe get some more videos filmed next week because I just feel like crap. But I'm excited to get into this review, and it's also gonna have the spoilers in it, so you know, if you haven't read the book, don't watch the video, but if you have read the book, come join me while I talk about my thoughts and feelings of this book. So when I first read this book, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, but on reread I've given it 4 out of 5 because there were some things that did annoy me that I didn't pick up on in the first book, and in 2016 I wasn't as critical in my reading as I am now, so a lot of books that I probably did read back then and I was just just give it 5 stars. That has changed now. I do still give out 5 stars for books, but a lot of the time I compare it to other books that are given 5, 4, or 3 because they're going to be in the same class of star rating, and if I feel more for one book than the other, I'm going to change my rating. So this book is still a 4-star read, which is still a good read. It's above average. It's in the top 50% of books that I really enjoyed, you know, it's not in the bottom 50%, so that's a good thing. So with this book, the first chapter was really good. It was really interesting. We've come in and we've got all this gun shooting stuff happening, and then for the next 6 chapters, it's just so slow. So this book started out so fast, and then it slowed right down, and then it got back up to being fast, and it was pretty fast for the rest of the book. But the juxtaposition of these 2 speeds in the book was kind of really jarring for me, and also for the fact that the story plot kept changing every 10 seconds because suddenly, you know, first there's a gunshot, and then she's back in a village and she's trying to act chill, and then suddenly they're chasing a horse. Suddenly she's leaving Tamid behind, and then suddenly she's on a train, and then suddenly she's with this band of people pretending to be a dude, and then they get captured, and suddenly she's at the rebellion. It was too jarring and too much change. Really get as invested as I was the first time, and it was actually really good in book 2 because I actually had a list of all the characters and all the things that they actually did, a really quick summary, and reading that really helped, but I still really needed to reread this first book because I literally remembered none of this stuff. So much of this book I did not remember. There was characters that I forgot even existed in the book, and I was like, who, what? And now it's just I get it. They are important, but I did not remember them. I really like Amani. Looking at this, my nose looks so red. This is just this sick face. Why did I have red? This isn't helping. I've got red hair, red face, red shirt. I'm really going for it. I'm really going. I really liked Amani as a character, and she was such a strong character as well. And I really loved that her goal was just to have a better life, and she had dreams and passions and stuff that she was trying to do, and she didn't want to have to marry her uncle. So she really just wanted to get out of dustwork and just have a good life and just to be safe, because she learned from a young age how to shoot a gun so she could protect herself, because there's so many horrible people out in the world. And for her to be so strong to do that and to self-taught herself and also to be able to fight, and she doesn't run away from scary things. I really liked her character, and she's one that we don't really see that much because main characters are always oh, I'm so clueless, and then 10 seconds later they can kill a bitch, you know. But Amani literally had the skills to be cool. A thing that I really didn't like about Amani, and I didn't like it in the first time reading, but I let it slide, was how easily she left people that she cared about. I just when Tamid got shot and she just went with Jin, I was like, what? And then she left Norsham because she promised that she would save him, and then she didn't. She left Shira on the train too, but she really sort of had to leave her, but she keeps leaving people, and it's so wrong. Most of the time it always bit her in the butt because they come back wanting to kill her because she left them, and you know, if you didn't leave them in the first place and actually made the effort to go get them, everything would be fine. Another thing with Amani though is because we find out that she's a Denjin, or however you say it, and she's trying to figure out what her powers is, and she can't figure it out, and then we find out that Iron stops their magic working, and because she has her guns so close to her and uses them all the time, she was blocking her own magic, and then you find out that she's got these really cool stand powers, and it was just such a she can either be one or the other. She can't use a gun and also be a Denji. It was such an interesting part of the story. But I did love her growth over the time being with the rebellion, and how she did discover that she really shouldn't leave people behind, but just how strong she got and how she really found a family with them. And it wasn't what she was expecting at the start of the book, but she's really come into her own of being a very important part of this rebellion, and they're gonna fight and they're hopefully gonna win. I love Jin, but not as much as I loved him in the first book, because I think back then I hadn't read too many male characters that are pretty much exactly like him, because you know, they're the snarky characters that don't want to be in the cause, but then they end up being in the cause because of the female, and it's like, ugh. Like, there's so many similarities to different people that I've read that sometimes it's hard to love like a male character because I've read them so many times before. So I still love Jin, but not as much. I really do like the secret prince trope where, you know, you're going along and at the end it's like, yes, I'm actually one of the 1,000 princes of the Sultan who had so many babies with all these women. But I really always love that, because it's like, that's the reason they're hiding. They're a secret prince and they're part of the rebellion, and it's like, ew. But I really enjoy when that's a part of a book. It's actually a really good storyline. And again, I really did like Jin's development of not really wanting a part of the rebellion and slowly really getting himself in there and helping them and fighting. Even though he was mainly there to be with Amani, he still had a good development there. And I really did love the rebel family with Ahmed, is that he's saying Ahmed? Like, his cause is so just, and like the Sultan is so bad, and literally how he just wanted the throne, so he killed like his father and like 10 of his brothers to get to the throne. He was too young to compete in the Sultan trial, so he didn't win, so he got the Galen army to come in, and so now they're being occupied, but he's the leader, and it's just like, what? And there is like seriously so much political drama in this book that I was just like, wow. And there's so much more in the second book, because I have read the second book, I'm on to the third book, so I'm trying not to say anything much about later books, but so much political drama. And I really wish I had a bookish map, and I cannot speak about this enough because I have no idea where they're going or why everything's like it is, because they're saying that the country they're in, like my gem or whatever it is in the center, and there's all these other countries, and then there's the ocean, and there's the capital city. Like, I don't get it, because they're surrounded, yet they can go to the ocean and they're still in their country. Like, it's so confusing, and we need a map. Actually, I am excited to say that the third book finally put a map in, but people asking for this map, and they finally decided to put a map in the third book, but they could have republished the maps in the first and second book. That would have been so good. I also loved Hala, Iman, and Delilah, and it was really good to have more Demji in there, like not have it sees like a really rare thing, like it's rare, but not that rare, and they were interesting with their all powers. You got one can shapeshift, there's actually twins that can like turn into animals, and then the other two can like make really cool illusions and fool the heck out of people. I really love the whole cast and how they really worked off each other, and there's so many people. Obviously Hala hates everyone except her sister Inan, but like I really did like it. And Shazad was amazing, and that's how you say a name. It's really hard when you have all these desert names that you try to pronounce it. It's just so difficult. I got the hiccups. I loved how awesome she was as a general, and how Arma didn't care that she was female. He was just happy to have her on board and working for them, and you know, her in the army, and she's like actually a general's daughter, so she's actually in a really big family in the Sultan's like reign. He's on the rebel side, and I love that. Just the female friendship with Amani and Shazad was so good, and there was no girl hate between them. Like, there's definitely girl hate in this book, but not between them, and that was really, really nice. And I just, yes to female friendships. And I just have to say, when Bahi died, I was so sad. I thought something would have happened with Shazad. Is it Shazad or Shazad? I don't know. Like, he was such a great character, and I love that he was a holy man in trailing, and then he was just horrible at it, so they kicked him out. And so he's just a great character. Like, I just thought he was so great, and then he burned to death, and I was like, ah. And Norsham was an interesting character because I'm not sure if I liked him or not. He was a good villain because he was just so alone, and he was just like reflecting that, using his powers to just burn people. Even though the Sultan got him and used metal to like control him, he ended up getting away, but then he stepped fighting people and burning, and he just was, you know, he wasn't sure what he wanted. And he was an interesting villain in that way when he really wasn't the villain, because the Sultan is the real villain. And the fact that Amani and Norsham had the same father, but it's so obvious when she's like, ooh, this random soldier has the exact same shade of eye color that I have, and then when she finds out she's a Demji, it's just like, well, I mean, it's obvious that they keep referring to your eyes and his eyes, and you're like, ooh, we must both be like people born of the like a different state. No, our father's just a god. The fight at the end was pretty intense though, because I felt like Amani could have died. Like, not that she would have, because she needs to be there until at least book 3. She can die at the end, but not now. But like, that fight was intense, and how she's using the sand abilities and he's got the fire going, and at the end he just runs off, and she's just like, oh, I must find my brother. And then we like never see him again, pretty much. Really good first book in a series though, and this book is so little though, like it's 360 pages, and then book 2 just goes right up to 570. Took me a week to read that because I just was like, whoa. It was like practically 2 of this book, but really enjoyed it. I recommend you guys checking it out if you haven't already. It is a popular like YA book, and it got a Goodreads Choice Award, which was so exciting, but really enjoyed it. But anyway guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!